we negotiated a police contract unlike any other. Our officers voted overwhelmingly to hold themselves to the highest standards of accountability and set a national precedent for community policing.
All right, everybody, welcome back and happy belated New Year. This is the first podcast of 2024. And of course, as always, you're listening to Answering the Call, the official podcast of the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association. As always, my name is Jamie Kenneally, alongside our president, Larry Calderone. Larry, good to see you back, bud.
Likewise, Jamie. Good, strong finish to our year and ready to kick off 2024.
All right, we're going to get to the commissioner. We have a guest today, Michael Cox. We'll get to him in just a bit. But before we do, and we got a lot to get to, but we begin the show on a sad, somber note. In case people didn't know, we lost a member of our BPD family, police officer Pierce Norton, a 10-year veteran, passed away suddenly on January 11th, 2024. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, remain with his family. Larry, I know you and I attended the walk by on Tuesday at St. Bridget's. Tremendous turnout for a tremendous guy.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic turnout. Once again, you see the members turning out to support each other and the family at one of the worst times. One of the most important things that we can do as leadership of the union is make sure that we're present for these walk-bys and at least try to give some comfort to the family with the tremendous loss that they're dealing with at that time. So to take part with the rest of our members and the command staff and be there to walk through and show us support is, again, one of the most important things that we can do.
Yeah, and again, just a tremendous turnout for a great kid. Switching gears, of course, we always like to talk about and acknowledge and appreciate the great work being done by our members. The year 2023, this past year, Larry, obviously a lot to highlight and to be proud of. Specifically, homicide rate was down, non-fatal shootings are down. I think we know who deserves the credit for those decreases.
Oh, that's the rank and file. That's the men and women out there answering the calls for service every day. Throwing me softballs to start off. I like it.
Well, it's important to acknowledge that great work for sure. All right, the big news. And it's something we've talked about on every podcast since our first podcast. We're talking contract, the recently ratified deal. First things first, Larry, let me just say congratulations to you and to Jen Rubin. Honestly, nobody worked harder to get this deal done than you two. And I just want to say time and time again, Larry, you said it on the show, our officers deserve to get paid. They deserve to be compensated fairly. And sure enough, you delivered.
No, I appreciate it, Jamie, and I thanks to everybody out there that's doing the job. But on this show here, we talked many times that we deserve to get paid. We deserve to be fairly compensated, and we deserve that firefighter TCAP. So I'm going to take that victory lap right here with you and say, yeah, we settled a 3-year-old contract, and then we tacked on 2 more years, and we worked very hard. I'll give some kudos and some thanks to the mayor and her team for getting it over the finish line. And yeah, we achieved the biggest contract in the history of the BPPA. So I'm proud to be the president, even more so than every day before this. I'm super proud of the people that I represent, the team that I have, and we delivered. So I'm very happy here that we got this contract done and that we did something that, I've been around since '94. Many presidents have tried to achieve this career incentive program that our brothers and sisters in the fire have been enjoying, and we were able to deliver. So it's huge.
Biggest contract in the history of the BPPA. That's a lot to say. And again, real quick, just how proud are you of the effort?
I couldn't be more delighted. That's how I was trying to get words to express it. Should have been better prepared for that one. But to be able to deliver something that this union has been after for the last at least 28 of my 30 years, Jamie, that I've been involved in a union, various presidents, various bargaining teams, everybody trying to get this TCAP incentive program that only Boston Fire has in the entire state of Massachusetts. Yeah, I'm super proud to be the guy to deliver it. And I hope, or better yet, let me say thank you to all the members that have continued to believe in me, that supported me, that voted me into office. I hope you're happy because I delivered.
Well, members, of course, are extremely happy, as seen in the votes taken to ratify the contract. Membership, very happy.
Landslide. Yeah, it was a landslide. We had approximately a 75% turnout from the membership, which is huge, as we all know. And it was voted. very strongly 9-1.
Yeah, overwhelming. Lengthy process, to say the least. A year?
Yeah, I would say it was a good year. It was a tumultuous time. We had various mayors come and go. We had the COVID crisis happen, and then Mayor Wu walks into town, and she had her own issues, not only with our membership, but with a lot of municipal agencies here in the city. And once she got her feet wet and got acclimated to her new environment, she came to the table with us like she said she would.
Yep.
We hammered out a dozen meetings in 10 months. We were at a stalemate. We filed a joint labor management, as everyone knows. And as time continued to move and it looked like we were going to get in front of an arbitrator, a good turning point happened. The mayor reached out. I sat in a room with her on various occasions, and her team fought very vigorously to fight back what we were trying to achieve. But at the end of the day, a meeting with Mayor Wu, myself, Attorney Jen Rubin, and her attorney Lou Mandarini, Renee Bushi from Labor, we were able to finalize what we delivered to the membership. And again, I want to say it again, it's the biggest contract in the history of the BPPA, and I'm super proud to be the guy to deliver it.
Let me ask you this, and again, can't stress that point enough. Newfound respect for the mayor as a result of these negotiations?
I don't know that I would say it was newfound for me. I would hope it'd be newfound for the membership. Undoubtedly, when she came in as mayor, I won't say that we rolled out the red carpet for her, because we didn't. There was a lot of negativity surrounding the reforms that she campaigned on.
Right.
We were dealing with the reforms here in Massachusetts. And I'll tell you what I have come to appreciate more so with the mayor is she continues to have an open door policy with me, with this organization. She continues to be a mayor of her word. She delivered just like we did on this contract negotiation. And even, I guess I'd say more personal for our membership, when we have a fallen officer like Pierce Norton that we just talked about, she was inside the church with the commissioner. She stood at the front of the altar.
Means a lot.
Through the walk by. And she's been at the hospitals that you and I go to when officers are injured in the line of duty. So she's doing the things that the mayor should do. So I'm thankful for that. And on the other side of the coin, if that changes, if she doesn't support the men and women that we represent, if for some reason there's a turning point, then you'll hear me say so on this program as well. But we do have a very good relationship, very good working relationship with the mayor right now, and we hope to continue that into the future. As you know, we're back at the bargaining table. A year from now, we're back at it.
I think folks feel that she is figuring it out. And I think when you're in charge of the city and you see the great work done by the BPD, you can't help but figure it out. But real quick, I know it's one burning question by the membership. Thank God the city council voted to fund it unanimously, which was a shock unto itself. But here we are about 5 weeks removed from that vote, January 19th. How soon before folks start to see the new contract and the increased wages and the checks?
Now, I'm going to do two things because, A, I told you not to ask me that question, so now I'll embarrass you. Everyone listening should know that Jamie worked extremely hard, working the city council tirelessly, even the ones that are always against us, that are always looking to defund us, that always want to point out some type of negativity, and are very, very rarely there to say something good when we do outstanding police work. So, Jamie, job well done. You've exceeded the expectations that I thought that you would bring to the table. Obviously, you're my guy, so you did a great job. Done with the pat and there on the back. Answering the question, when will we have an integrated contract printed? I don't know that answer yet.
Okay.
I obviously we have the MOA. Our team is putting it into form right now. I'll say in the next few months we hope to get it to print. But I want to be careful naturally in the way I answer it. I don't want to say it's coming May 1st and all of a sudden it's June and we're getting knocks on the door
it's
about,
coming.
hey,
we know that.
Larry, come on.
It's coming.
But it will be in print. It will be available and it is coming. If anybody listening wants a copy of the MOA, the Memorandum of Agreement that was signed, ratified, passed by the council, all they have to do is email me or they could email the show. Make sure you give the email address to the show before
Answering
we go.
The call, Larry. Answering the call at bppa.org.
One more time.
Answering the call at bppa.org, buddy.
Cool. Yeah, if anybody's looking for that MOA, we can provide that to them, and then we'll have a full integrated contract before before this summer's out.
Okay. Again, Larry, cannot thank you enough, you and Jen Rubin and others, for the work done to make this contract a reality. All right. On that note, coming up in just a minute, Commissioner Michael Cox is or will be our guest on the podcast. Of course, we're happy to have him here. Again, Commissioner Cox coming up after the break.
And now I'd like to introduce our next Boston Police Commissioner, Michael Cox.
Thank you all. You know, it's hot out here, so I won't talk long, but I do consider this a homecoming.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Our guest this podcast, none other than Commissioner Michael Cox. For those of you who don't know, and I know, Commissioner is a huge University of Michigan football fan, in addition to working as the chief of the Ann Arbor Police Department for, I think, was it 3 years, sir? 3 years?
It was 3 years.
Okay,
yes.
3 years. In addition to being out there for 3 years, we know your son Michael played for the University of Michigan from 2009 to 2011. So the question, the easy one off the top, how happy were you, sir, to see the Wolverines come up big against Washington in the championship football game?
They deserved it. They're hardworking team, the best team in the country, no doubt about that, and they showed it. And they're similar to how the Patriots used to be. Remember when the Patriots were winning all the time, and then people find any excuse to try to justify the winning? Well, I feel as though they kind of had that same, bad luck this year around it, but they still showed that they were the best team in the country by far, and I'm happy for those gentlemen on that team. Those young men deserved it.
So. It was a lot of fun to watch. Of course, Jim Harbaugh, the coach, is he staying in Michigan? Any inside information? You still in touch with people out there?
I know some folks out there, but I have no clue whether or not he's staying or not. And I wish him the best as well, because since his return, they've certainly had brought back their winning tradition.
Yeah.
So
an impressive run, to say the least. All right, changing gears. Named commissioner in July. You were sworn in, sir, I think August 15th, 2022. You've been on the job for just about a year and a half. I guess the obvious question, are you glad you took the job, and are you enjoying it?
Well, that is an excellent question. I am glad to be back in Boston, and I am honored to be in this position. Regardless of, how difficult it may seem on the job in general, representing the men and women who do this job on a daily basis in a city that I was born and raised in and probably will live in until I perish, it's just an honor across the board. And so I am blessed in so many different ways. I would never say that this position was not a blessing in a lot of ways. So I'm honored to be here, and I'm happy to be here as long as they'll have me. And so I can't say the job is easy, but nothing in life is. And so that being said, I'm just, tickled pink to be here.
I was going to say, it ain't an easy job. It's one of the more complex, complicated jobs in the city. You make it look easy, but I got to ask you, how long did it take for you to kind of, get comfortable in the position? Or are you at a point now where you're like, okay, I got a handle on this?
Well, I'm never comfortable. It's nothing about this. And the second you think you're comfortable, that's probably the day you're fired or something really bad is going to happen. No, we don't control, the day-to-day activities that would happen here.
Yep.
So try to prepare as much as you can for it. And then when something happens, if you're prepared, you go with your training. And if you're not prepared, then you use your best logic and your education and experiences to put together a plan to deal with what's going on right then and there, along with everybody that works alongside you and with you. And together, hopefully, that's enough experience and education and knowledge to be able to address the issue. So, that's how I look at it daily. And it's been working out in a lot of ways.
Yeah, God bless you.
About being dumped into it. Another good thing that happened is that I had the opportunity of leaving. I was here for 30 years, but going away and being a chief in another state, in another jurisdiction, county, for 3 years, that's a tremendous learning process and curve too. And I would say that most of the things that I experienced here, I had already experienced in Ann Arbor, except the stuff here is on steroids. So.
Yeah, it's like going from single A baseball to the big leagues for sure. Is there one thing in particular that you're most proud of? Is there one achievement or accomplishment to date that you're like, okay, I'm glad I got an opportunity to make that happen?
Here?
Yeah, here with Boston.
So it's a work in progress. So unless I'm being fired this afternoon, I can't reflect on anything. But I will say this, is that, there are tremendous officers that work here, men and women of all ranks, and civilians that work here. And the honor to work with them is truly that, an honor. You look at the crime statistics of Boston, and you go and look up across the country, and they are so outrageously good that some people think that we're cooking the books.
Yeah.
That's what they are, especially when you look at other cities our size. We continue to get better every year, and that's on the work of the men and women that work in the city. And that's also on the work that the men and women that work in the city do to make relationships with the public that are here, to, build, communications and partnerships with so many different people. That is, it's both surprising and rewarding to be able to come into a place and continue to have success. Because when you change leadership, it doesn't mean that success is still going to stay. And I'm just honored that the people here trust me enough to continue to work for the public, continue to build partnerships, continue to both listen and step up to everything that they're asked of. And that's an honor to me, like to be in a place where so many people, are willing to work and do the things that we ask them to do and continue to excel at that. So that is both a surprise and something that I'm very, very happy with. It's not my work because I don't do any work. You know that. I haven't arrested anybody since 1995.
Well, you do a little work, sir. You do a little work. I got to give you some credit.
You all do the work, but the fact is that I'm here to try to make sure we support you, make sure that you understand the mission and direction of where we're going. Sure that the public gets it too. Make sure that all the things you hear. There's a lot of things going on, but it's not me who does it. It's you all. And if I can take credit for that along the way, I guess I will. But I know where the credit really belongs. It belongs to people who do it.
Well, you're a good coach. I'll say that. And I'll ask you that question. We mentioned Jim Harbaugh. I mean, obviously, you are the head coach of the Boston Police Department. So how would you describe your leadership style? Obviously, morale is a big issue, making officers feel valued. And I get a kick out of the comment like, yeah, here we are, one of the safest cities in America, and people are accusing us of cooking the books instead of realizing, no, we just got some dedicated, hardworking, big-hearted people who care about making the city safe. But what kind of leader are you? What kind of coach are you? What's your style?
Well, I can say what I, a leadership style that I, particularly like and what I aspire to be. I don't know if I'm there yet, but it's more about I have to laugh a little bit about it, but it's really about being I don't want to say a selfless leader, but certainly one whose leadership style is to inspire the people who work, to motivate them, to help them understand what it is they're doing, so they feel empowered, that they're in an environment where they're both growing and learning, and they're able to make our community better, whether it's the community of the officers that we work with or the community of Boston in general. If you're in a place where you're doing something that you care about, with people that you care about, for people that you care about, it's highly likely you're going to do a great job and you're going to feel good about what you do on a daily basis. And that's the environment which I'm trying to support and develop. So if you understand that as an individual, it doesn't matter who the boss is. You're going to make your work environment the best you can be every single day. And if every individual understands that, it doesn't matter who's at the top of the organization. That organization is.
I don't know. I think coaching is important, and I think you're right. I mean, the work is important. Our officers should feel good about the work that they do. I mean, making the city safe, increasing and growing quality of life. But there is a disconnect. So I would imagine that's a big challenge as the head of the department. But morale is a huge issue, and as we all know, officers have felt kind of underappreciated and have been overworked. I mean, is that? I'm guessing that's an ongoing challenge to make sure morale is at a healthy level.
Yeah, it's an ongoing challenge for everybody. It's not just our department, it's the whole country. Since COVID came in, morale seems to be impacting everybody in all walks. When you have a sickness like that comes and you don't know how it's going to affect you, and the mental trauma that we've all gone through, it's tough. Like, you don't know what's going on. When families aren't visiting family members and not letting their kids come home from college and watching their grandparents die in nursing homes without saying goodbye because they're worried about their own health. That is traumatizing in so many ways. And as we learned and adjust, the world was kind of turned upside down around some of this stuff. Yet, our officers had to come to work every single day.
Every day. Yep. You can't make that point enough. Every day. Right.
And the fact is that our job changed. And regardless of whether we admit it or not, I would imagine our enforcement went way down. Our ability to come in contact with people or even desire to come in contact with people probably went way down. So many things changed in a short period of time. That's enough to impact the morale, whether you're at home or at work in so many ways. And we're coming back off of that, right? So we're going back off the public. We're being around people. We're being around each other. And it's like a relearning of that. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get through this together. We have a job to do. We're good at it, but we probably started some poor behaviors around, being around people and engagement and some other things as a result of a pandemic that there's only one time in our history in this country we ever known about. It was over 100 years ago. So, that's first and foremost to understand that. The good news is that, part of our mission is around community policing. And what's the importance of that? Well, it's us building partnerships with the public and being around them and actually letting them get to know us and vice versa. As people, we're meant to be around people. If officers are out there, and I bet you there are some that are already engaged in this, and they're told that they're doing a great job, or someone tells them what they need from the officer understands exactly what's being asked of them, we're going to step up and actually meet that challenge almost every time. And when we're successful, that, self-esteem that the officers should get from that, and the fact, the look on the face of the public that's actually, the benefactor of that, that builds a trust and bond with our fellow human beings that has a way to make us feel good about ourselves, job, the work. And that's what I'm trying to emphasize, to understand that we're here to do a job, but the fact is, it involves other people. And so we need to engage them.
We got to build relationships, no doubt. And just for the record, in case you were wondering, Larry and I really enjoy being around you. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we do enjoy being in your company. If that was the question you had, but maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But let me ask. Speaking of Larry, dealing with the Boston Police Patrol Officers Association, dealing with Larry Calderone, our president. How much do you love Larry Calderone? Is the question? Oh
boy,
or maybe is it or hate? Is it hate or love? Well, I mean, you can answer it as you want, sir.
Well, this is we're similar, but we're not in some ways. He is.
Just stop there, sir. Don't go.
Well, no, he cares about, the membership. He's a passionate person. He's opinionated about some of this stuff. And he has a clear idea about what's expected. Yeah. And I do too. I'm probably not as opinionated as much as he is in some fashion, but that's just me because of my style a little bit. But I will say this, is that the difference is that my focus is much wider. He cares about, obviously, the patrolmen, their working conditions, what's expected of them. And more importantly, making sure that we do all we can to make sure that they're in the best success. And I am too, but I also have to, discipline when appropriate. I have to make sure that people know, that they're going to be held accountable, where the lines are, and things of that nature are around that. And also I have to make sure that you understand that we're part of a bigger profession and what our profession is, and that it grows and evolves. And if you don't understand that as such, and I think we're starting to communicate a lot more around those expectations, then sometimes if we go to do something because the profession requires it, if you're not engaged in that conversation, you're going to think that it's a punishment for someone, or why are you doing this or something? And the fact is that this is where our profession is going. If we're not on the same page to communicate that to the officers to do the job, then the officers don't feel good about their job. They feel as though something's being put on them. Yeah. And the fact that's just part of being in the profession. And I think, because of the fact that, he'll say something and then it reminds me of something, and I call him and talk to him, he gets it, right? He listens. And I appreciate that. And the fact is, he's really good at telling me the impact of what something happening on the streets with the officers. Because if I don't hear that, there's no way we can try to address it.
I mean,
So
what's interesting, it's a lot of the same, though, but at the end of the day, two entities both working for the betterment and benefit of our officers. But I got him sitting here, too. I'm sure you knew that, sir, but he's sitting across from me, and he wants to weigh in on how much he loves you, I think. Larry, floor is yours.
I'm not going to use that word love, but I'm not going to use that word love. No, but I appreciate what you said, Commissioner, and it's truthful, and it's good for anyone that's listening to this, whether they're the membership or just people interested in everyday policing and the podcast, to hear you say that, because I'm going to agree with you. I'm definitely more opinionated than you are. You take a softer, I guess, stronger, more professional approach. I'll give you the extra kudos on top of me. I am opinionated, and it is based around the membership and what they're dealing with on the street. And it's good for them to hear you on this show. I thank you for coming on. And I guess the best thing that I will say about our working relationship is I commend you on the continued attempt of building morale in the department. I saw the commissioner's commendations come out today on the email list. And once again, there's 6 pages worth of great police work there that you're recognizing. And that's one of the things that I know you continually talk to me about. You always express, hey, tell me how the members are doing on the street. Let me know what I can do better. So I want to make sure that the members that are listening do hear that. You and I have a very good working relationship. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I'm proud to be a part of making the department better than we were the day before. But when you talk about the union and the commissioner and how do we get along, quickly went through the pages of commendations, and you have some of our union reps out there doing great police work. You have Sean Harris and Officer Nadia Scanafoli over in B3. To refresh everybody's memory, there was a medical emergency at the Grove Hall meeting, and they were able to clear the path, get EMS, get that person to safety, and get the medical attention needed. And then you have Officer Drew Pokrant and Officer Barton over in Eggleston Square at a person that was shot in the pizza shop. And they're really showing off their police skills and their medical skills by quickly patching that person up until EMS got there. So it's fantastic that you continue to recognize the men and women that are out there. I want to recognize them as well. And I want to echo what you said. Yeah, I value our working relationship, and I look forward to continuing not only helping my membership, but helping you make the department look better daily.
No, and I appreciate that, Larry. And so, I do mean this. My role and job is really to listen and actually figure out, how we could try to do things better, and then, vet that with the people who do the work on a daily basis. One of the first things I think you passed on to me is about, I think I might have asked, when was the last time we did, commissioner accommodations or something of that sort? And he put out, it just didn't happen. Now we're doing them quarterly, routinely.
Yep.
And based off of, what you told me and passed on about around recognizing folks and the importance of that. When I first came in, we started some listening sessions. I don't know how many officers were involved with that. The listening sessions we went around just to get people's input on the job and how we can make it better, or dislikes and things of that nature, where we haven't come out with the findings of that yet, but we were listening directly to some of the things that people have said to try to make a difference. You are my biggest, certainly advocate around making sure that we listen to what officers are saying and doing, and then actually making it happen. You talked about the officers being ordered. When it first came, and all the amount of ordering going on, and I think I tried to make a promise that wouldn't happen, where people get ordered 3 shifts again. And then, as a result, which it may come with some controversy, but we're trying to be, we're trying to certainly be innovative by, getting other people in specialized units to participate and help officers, so we reduce the number of people who are forced to be in order. All the results of some of the things that you put out here when I first came. So it is truly a partnership around making our department better. It takes all of us to do that. And that's what I care about. And we're going to try to do that across the board. But you all are actively participating in this. And Larry, you're a big part of this. So thank you.
So well said. And I think, as I said, it's a necessary, needed, spirited dialogue and debate that goes on between yourself and the commissioner, with good stuff coming as a result. All right. We got one or two more questions. Recruiting efforts, sir. I know the recruiting campaign. You guys have done a really nice job. A lot of nicely produced videos and messaging. In light of the new contract, the pay increases, the educational incentives, has the new contract, do you think the new contract is going to benefit recruiting efforts and maybe help people get a little more excited about police work?
Well, I mean, hopefully it does. Right now, we don't have any evidence that it has in that way, but hopefully it does a lot around retention. Maybe keeping some officers around that might be retirement, then maybe want to give them some incentives to stick around. I think hopefully that will be a little bit more tangible around this stuff. I will say the younger generation of officers may or may not care as much about the financial parts of this job. But this is a great job. There's no doubt about that. I've been on it for a long time in general, and so have you all. But it is a great job, both spiritually and in the fulfillment of, what you can do in this world. And the benefits, I'm actually retired.
You couldn't tell.
When I get to retire again, I'll actually have the gift that keeps on giving for the rest of my remaining of my life. There's not a lot of jobs out there that even exist in the world today. There's a career path. You can come on as an officer. You can choose to stay that for as long as you want, or you can actually, go on to become the commissioner if that's the career path you want. There's so many options out there around the profession that we're in, and the skill set is transferable. So if you do retire, you could actually go to the private sector and actually even make more money in some ways if you wanted to. There's so many good aspects of this job that I can go on and on and on. We just have to do a better job of actually communicating that to the public, and also try to get the media to get on board about all the good that we do. And that's what we're trying to do. Yeah. We put media blitz out there, whether it's the Celtics game or being on the billboards and all of these things, asking, every officer to try to go out and recruit one officer. We've had an impact on this class coming in. We went from maybe 100 or so people signing up to have almost 900 people signed up to take the.
What we need is finder's fees, sir. We got to get finder's fees out there.
Incentive pay rate increases, yeah.
We'll get the membership moving with a finder's fee.
There you go. Well, I appreciate helping everybody, but there's a lot of people doing the work on this one. But I do appreciate all the work that they're doing. This is a great job, and that's what I like to talk about. This is the one where sometimes we do differ, because Larry can get a little opinionated, and sometimes wants to talk.
He's opinionated. You're diplomatic. We understand. We got
just
that.
Looking for a buck. That's all. Just trying to make a buck for the men.
He is opinionated.
Right. And sometimes I have to remind the people that, this is, when you signed up, this is honorable work. It's honorable. Yep. There's some negative parts of the job, but the fact is, some of those we knew about when we signed up around that. But, we are back to the public, and we're mission driven, and it has rewards that money can't buy after the fact, as far as being honorable and fulfillment and things of that nature, and people know that. Sometimes we just forget it along the way. But I do need to make sure we do the best job possible, making sure that people have appreciation for what we're trying to do, and then we need to do the best job possible of making the work easier for the people that want to do this job, and making it safer for the people that want to do this job. And we have a ways to go, but as long as we communicate, I think we'll continue to get better.
All right, sir. Last question or comment to you. We've covered a lot of territory. Is there a message you want to close with, closing thought to the hardworking men and women of the BPD out there every single day working hard to keep the city safe?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. I mean, we see you, we hear you. I know the mayor's mentioned it multiple times. I think it's be put out there nationally. They are doing tremendous work of making this the safest city in America, and we appreciate it. But, no good deed goes unpunished, in the sense that the harder we work, the harder we have to work to continue to build on that success and the expectations around that. And so I know everyone will live up to it, but we are truly appreciative of the work that's being done. You'll hear me talk a lot about, community policing, because that's our mission. To fight crime, reduce fear, and improve the quality of life in our neighborhoods. Our mission is community policing. That's important for officers to understand. Sometimes we can get caught up in one aspect of a job, and the fact is that is our mission, is to fill all of those aspects of the job. And I appreciate all the work that we do. So I'm always going to remind people of that we are here to serve the public. And then when we do that, there's a reward that comes from it, internally, externally. But that's our number one goal. And we should do it in an environment where we take care of each other as we take care of the public.
Yeah. Yep. So we certainly appreciate your time. One final football note. I don't know if you knew this or not, but Travis Kelce and your son Michael were both drafted in the 2013 NFL draft. I thought that was important to bring up.
Well, thank you very much. And Travis Kelce
overrated?
So in my son, so.
Sir, again, thank you for the time. We look forward to talking to you again. It means a lot. And again, keep up the great work. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, PC.
No, me on, and I'm sorry it took so long to get on, and but I appreciate being invited, and so it's always good to talk to both of you gentlemen. So, I appreciate it.
You're a big deal, sir. That's all I'm going to say. You're a big deal. All right, thanks again, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, PC.
All right, take care. Thank you.
All righty, then that wraps up the show. Again, thank you to Commissioner Michael Cox. To our listeners out there, of course, we appreciate you taking the time to check in. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or show ideas, again, we kindly ask you to email us at answeringthecall@bppa.org. Again, answeringthecall@bppa.org. Questions, suggestions, show ideas, please don't hesitate to give us a call. But that's it. For Larry Calderone, I'm Jamie Kenneally. Till next time, please stay safe, everybody.